So there was a bit of news in the pigeon world. There was reports of extreme geomagnetic storms, and the phenomena of the aurora was visible all over the earth in places that you normally don't see. Naturally, this was quite a concern with the pigeon fanciers, and a lot of fanciers was very concerned that we will lose pigeons, and that includes me. I was a firm believer, or is a firm believer, that the geomagnetic storms do have an actual effect on our pigeons' ability to navigate. And I did ask the question on Facebook, and it caused quite a stir, but nothing seemed to have happened.
So, like I said, a lot remains to be said about the effects of the geomagnetic storms and the actual effect it does have on the pigeons and its their navigation. We've spoke about it in length now, so, and previous videos as well. So please feel free in the comment section to tell me if you've experienced any losses this weekend, in which areas you do fly, how many birds you lost, or how many birds you sent to the toss. And one other thing that I want to explore is the effect of training pigeons too late or too quickly. So if you can also help me out and comment when you started training your pigeons for the first time, when they went for their first toss, and when you let them start loft flying for the first time. Okay, so today is just a normal Saturday. It was supposed to be a race day, but our race was, a mock race was cancelled, and I wasn't going to fly it anyway due to the geomagnetic storms. And the consensus in the club was that we have more to lose than to gain to send the birds to the races this week. The season hasn't officially started, and even though it might be a 50-50 chance to have a bad toss or a good one, there's much more to be lost than to be gained from it. There's no reason to put the birds through any kind of stress or unnecessary risk. So it has been cancelled, but we are going to send the birds on a 180 kilometer toss as a club. So everyone's sending the birds so they can also have the experience of some of the other guys that hasn't been on the union track, so that pigeons can actually break away out of the pack. And also it will give my pigeons an opportunity to the fanciers that's in my immediate vicinity that will fly in my club. Some of my fellow fanciers is 700 meters from me as the crow flies, or a kilometer or so. So my birds need to kind of also know to lead the way, not to go with my fellow fanciers pigeons, but to break away and clock hopefully quickly. So today we are just going to show you a little bit of how I clean my loft. And how I manage the sand and the sand floors in the loft, how I keep it clean, and also we are preparing for breeding again, and I've let the pigeons, the stock pigeons, to have a nice bath, let the cocks and the hens mix a little bit for once again. They've already been paired up, so they're mixing it up and they falling in love again, and they will now start assuming their positions, nest positions, to start the breeding season. I did put them through a short little program, a canker paratyphoid treatment, and I vaccinated them all against paramyxo, and I'm quite confident and happy that they are ready for the breeding season. Also cleaned up their nest pans, covered it in newspaper, put fresh pine needles down, so we are ready to get breeding. Yeah, so it's exciting times, but for now all our focus is on the racing. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the short video. Not much to be said in terms of medicine today. Just normal water was given, and I did give my 80-20 mix like I always do, but the only thing is I added a little bit of hemp oil and brewer's yeast today seeing that they didn't race, so we're gonna keep them light on the purative, and they will have a loft fly around 4 o'clock for an hour, and that's that. So let's have a look at the splishing and splashing of the stock pigeons, and yeah, normal housekeeping and husbandry duties in and around the loft. I hope you enjoy the video. Please tune in for another one tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Okay, everyone, I just want to show you quickly how I manage my loft floor hygiene. Those who have been following me for a while now would notice that I actually have a sand floor. So this sand is not just river sand or ones that you get from the building supply places. It's actually washed river sand, SABS approved. It's the ones they use for the children's sand pit. So it's been tested and certified that it is clean and there's no bacteria or any harmful things or chemicals in it. So that's very important to make sure your sand is being tested and clean. So I just buy the SABS sand pit sand for the children, and that's been tested for chemicals and all sorts. Okay, so I just want to show you, because I've been asked recently how I maintain my floor. First of all, I just want to tell you why. I've tried this first year. I'm trying this. As you can see, I actually have a concrete floor, and I used to use the concrete floor, but it used to get so dirty and slimy when the pigeons have loose droppings and wet, and I considered putting in wooden floors, but I decided against that as well, and I decided on a sand floor. So what I do is it's very, very easy to maintain as well. Hey, you're not supposed to be in here, you're supposed to be in the air. Anyway, so what I'll do is I've got this big old dustpan, and I'll use it as a shovel as such, and I'll just shovel the sand like this and get a good old scoop. Then I've got an old chip basket that I use as a sieve. Now I guess I could make myself a bigger sieve or something that's more effective, but yeah, me being me, sometimes I tend to work harder and not smarter. But cleaning the loft is actually quite easy. It takes me, on my own, all 3 sections that's got sand, it takes me about 25 to 30 minutes, sometimes a bit longer if the old legs and back is not up to it, but it's really not that difficult to maintain. I find it much easier than it used to be with the cement floors. And then what I'll do is I'll just give it a good old shake. Now I've sifted the sand already, so there's not many droppings left, but as you can see, it catches all the droppings, and that's it. And then your sand is sifted and clean. So I like this way because the pigeon seems to like it. Their feet are always soft and dry. They don't get those warts on the feet, which I don't like. And the sand in the winter time, it gives the loft warm, and in the summertime it keeps the loft cold, and it's much more natural. I like it also, feeling of it on my feet, and I like the clean look of it. And the biggest benefit, it keeps your droppings bone dry. It really does. It's so dry that I can actually powder it with my fingers. And I'm thinking of bagging up, because it's so dry, bagging it up and then selling it to the nursery for a few bucks. Maybe I can make a few bucks and buy some feed with it. But yeah, that's just and then what I'll do afterwards, I'll take the rake and I'll just even out the sand once more. And this I do once a week, and I tend to have a nice and tidy, clean loft all the time, because that's the way I like it. I don't think one has to be so strict on a clean loft always, but I don't like a dirty loft. Plus, I don't mind cleaning the loft because for me it's quite fun. I like spending time in the loft, but I do believe in clean purchase every day, merely for the fact that I need them to sleep on a clean bed so that I can monitor the droppings in the mornings. And in the pitch darkness, I come with my little torch and I check each pigeon's droppings, and that gives me a good indication if there's any problems whatsoever. So the other thing that I then do before I then rake the sand, I shovel it in so that the concrete floor is exposed, and then in here, if I can just, you two, some thin ice, the two of you. You're going to be single tossed today if you carry on like that. Yeah, so if I expose my loft floor, and then I just give it a good old spray with thick bleach mixture with water. So I just spray the loft lightly and a bit on the sand. I don't do it to the point where the loft floor is actually wet, but it does give us a fine spray. And I'll do the actual purchase as well. Some people say this is not good for the pigeons. Maybe they're right, but this is what I do, so forgive me if I offend anyone, but this is my method. I'm not saying it's the right one, but this is what I like. So that's pretty much it. So it's covered in the thick bleach, fine spray, and then I'll just rake it even, and then we are done. So I'll show you what it's like when it's all raked up and then ready to go. Okay, and there we go. The loft is all raked up and nice and clean sand, and I just raked it just now, and as you can see in the air there's absolutely zero dust, even though I've been disturbing the soil of the sand. And yeah, so there's no dust particles in the air that can go into the pigeon's lungs. So I quite like this. And just one more thing, this knife is not here for any sinister reason. I just like to scrape my purchase with a nice sharp knife, because then I can get into the corners and I can get all the droppings off, and it leaves my purchase nice and clean, just the way I like it. I think my mother will be proud. And yeah, this is just my little frugal operation. I'm what you call a backyard pigeon fancier. Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Ships on vigor of the waves of skim, and barren summits to the verdant plains. Each horizon is a new beginning, rise and reign. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold currents, brave and soar over new frontiers. Songs and sagas of a fate determined, shields and spears. Vows of favor or the thrill of plunder, pulled together for the clan and kin. Clank of hammers and the crash of thunder pound within. Oh, 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 the echoes of eternity. Oh, 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 Valhalla calling me. Oh, 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 to pluck the strings of destiny. Oh, oh, Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me. swaying on the crimson rivers, blood and glory in the fighting fields. Shields to shatter into splintered timbers, iron and steel. Fires are rising and the bells are ringing. Glory, take us into Odin's halls. Golden glimmer and the sound of singing. Asgard's call. Oh, the echoes of eternity.